What up, guys? It's Duke Delaet, and today's epiphany is you have full control over yourself. So there I was, standing in a local nightclub, watching everybody go by me, thinking, man, I sure wish somebody would notice me. The clock ticks time away. Full glasses of adios motherfucker get drink. And I go home alone. And I'm thinking to myself, why? Why, oh why, doesn't anybody notice me? You see, my whole life was isolated. I was energetic, super ADHD, running around, trying to get everybody's attention, doing things, blah, 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 blah. I just couldn't get anybody interested. Relatively isolated. And it was just the way it was. I kept looking to the external to be like, oh, why? Why can't I just do something that makes them pay attention? Then I took a class. Took a class with who is now a megalodon of self-help, Owen Cook. And back then he was just some 20-something-year-old kid who was trying to build a self-help company. And I really resonated with this guy. This guy crushed it. And he was teaching how to date people. And he was my first inspiration for being what I am today. I show up in his class. He says, we're going to go talk to actual people. We're going to go use these words that I'm teaching you. And you're going to go get the attention of fine young women. And unless you do all the exercises, we're going to lock the door of this conference room. And you won't be able to come back in. And I was like, oh, what am I going to do? I've never talked to people before in ways that worked. Maybe this guy has the answer. This guy did not have the answer. But I went out, 3rd Street Promenade, with a whole bunch of dudes dressed in affliction shirts. And we started talking to people. And I made the first girl laugh on my own volition, ever. And I was like, maybe there's something to this. And that launched me down a 14-year journey that led me to today, where I'm teaching this shit for a living. The thing that I learned that day is fate gives you what you deserve. Let's say you're into all this law of attraction stuff, and you go around and you're like, I am manifesting what my energy puts out into the universe. Great. But if you put self-conscious, self-doubting, self-sabotaging energy into the universe, you're going to get conscious, doubted, sabotaging shit back from the universe. If that law of attraction thing is your thing. If you go out there and say, look, I'm going to go meet people, it's a foregone conclusion. You will meet people. As you start to stack the layers over time, and you practice all the things you're not good at, you become the kind of person that can actually get what you want accomplished. I was out there tonight, and I ran into a bunch of people who think I'm a swell person, or at least they say so to my face, and I'm constantly getting recently, and you can't really see it on the videos because it takes a back and forth banter, but I'm constantly getting that I'm witty on top of it, razor sharp humor, right? And I was thinking about it as I was leaving the bar tonight, and I was like, man, that only came from just years of going back and forth with people. Intentionally practicing with people back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And eventually, I reached a certain level of mastery of the thing. The journey in itself, I mean, I've talked about journey in the last few videos ad nauseum because I fucking love it. And I'm going to talk about it for many, many, many more videos to come. But molding who I am is a moment-by-moment, day-to-day process. And if you start to love that process, then you can really make strides in A, getting results, but B, understanding who you are at a deep, deep level. I think that's my biggest takeaway from the last 14 years of doing this stuff. I love it. It's like of my own design. It's like I'm not at the mercy of the external environment. I have the ability to adapt to it and experience it more fully rather than somebody who's just at the mercy of the environment. And I've talked about the whole victim mentality for a long time, but it goes beyond that. If you believe that you have control over what you have control over, and you don't give that power away to the external environment, to another person, you start to understand all the idiosyncrasies and all the inconsistencies in your own personality. Because if you believe that you have control and then you do something that's fucked up, then you have to face the fact that you just did something that's fucked up, and you can't blame it on something else outside. And then that gives you the opportunity to choose to change it and get better or worse in relation to your goals. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things in life. And it happens across all strata: social skills, money, spiritual well-being, mental health. Like all of these things you can do by taking control over what you have control over. My mentor Owen, he used to say, field is king. What he meant by that is, like, if you go out and you test it in real life, in the field, and you don't just sit around theorizing about shit, then you're going to get all sorts of learning and new concepts that you can only get from being in the real world doing real shit. The way that you can accelerate that process is taking full responsibility for the things that you can control in that environment and being razor sharp in like testing and tweaking and exploring, and it helps you discover the flawed and yet perfectly beautiful thing that is the world and the interaction that you have with it. And I think for me, it's the only way to live life. I gave you an exercise a couple days ago that was like, figure out what you're scared of and then go do something to further your tolerance of that. Today, I want you to do something that's discovery-based, that takes your own actions and control, takes your own responsibility into account. Sit down and visualize for a second going and doing an approach or talking to somebody who you find attractive, and run through that exercise in your mind. I do this a lot, but there's so much information in it if you can really get yourself into that space. Find a spot in this visualization where you are blaming things on the outside environment. It's like, oh, it's too dark in here. Oh, she had something going on in her brain. Oh, those people are too energetic and I'm low energy, or whatever it is. And write that shit down. And find an alternative thing that you can do that where you would be taking responsibility in that moment. One of the classic examples from my old job is a guy would be like, oh, I can't go talk to that group of people because there's too much energy at the table and I'm feeling really low right now. So it's their fault, they're too energetic, I don't have to do anything, and then I'm not going to make any progress, and this night is wasted. Well, they might have more energy than you do, but there's two sides of the coin, right? You can up your energy level to match theirs. You could pull their energy down to yours to match yours, or you can kind of meet in the middle somewhere, depending on your level of social power. So you'd write down a way that you could go in and up your energy level. You could think about positive shit and roll in. You can think about positive shit, get amped up and roll in, change your state, like Tony Robbins says. Or you can walk in just being you and not giving a fuck about their response that you're dissonant. And if you hold your frame long enough, they'll match yours. Those are things that you can do with your own responsibility in mind that doesn't really depend on the external environment. That's where you can really start to learn the skill of calibration. I think that's it for the day. So check out yesterday's video, check out the group, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and check out David's shit down in the comments below. I'm doing this every damn day. So, till tomorrow, stay awesome.